Welcome to
Welcome to
Sip
Sip
Happens.
Happens, episode 18. We're here. We are, our school years both just started. So really excited to talk about that, except
Did you
mine.
cry? Like, I'm
You
not
know
a
what I did?
crier.
I did because I normally, I say normally, this is my second year dropping a kid off at school. So last year, the first other time that I've done this, I did not cry. I also was not pregnant. So I am in the phase of the 9 months of my life where I get to blame pregnancy for everything. I'm an emotional person regardless, though, so I normally am a crier, but this isn't something like I'm so excited to see my kid going to school and being amazing and independent. But I cried this time because the day before school started, we went for the open house. We walk in, we, are walking to a new classroom. It's on the other end of the school from where her classroom was last year. New space, new teacher. The school itself is the same, and it's not a big school. It's like one main hallway, and then there's two hallways on the right and one hallway on the left. So last year she was the hallway on the left. This year she's the second hallway on the right. So we stand at the front. We aren't allowed to go into the school. You drop her off and you can just stand and watch her walk in. There's a bunch of other teachers and adults, but it's first day chaos. So first day she walks in and she takes her first right instead of the second right and immediately gets lost. And so we're stuck outside and we're like, oh my gosh, there's no adults helping her. What's going on? Like, we just sent our daughter into school and no one else is helping her. She's obviously lost. I was like, Spencer, you have to go in there. You have to. But parents aren't allowed in because obviously safety concerns. So we're waiting and she's not coming back. We're watching for all the kids coming back down the hallway. It's right by the front door so we can see who's coming back and not coming back. And we're like, okay, so now she's just aimlessly wandering the halls of school. She's 4 years old.
Can you
It's a bunch of
see
other
her, like, through a
4-year-olds.
window, or do you have, like, an air tag on her? Like, how do you know how
No, we
she's
could just see
wandering?
because the hallway's right down the front door. So you can see what happens down the front door. And she just doesn't come back. And we're like, oh, cool. Like, obviously nothing's wrong. She's in the school. She's going to be found eventually, even if she's not found immediately. So my husband pokes his head in and one of the administrators is like, you need to wait outside, and like scolds him because he's not supposed to be in there because they're dealing with first day of school stuff and parents aren't supposed to be in there. But he peeks his head around the corner before he gets kicked out, and she's like holding some teacher's hand with a big smile on her face, walking back down the hallway to go back to her classroom.
She figured
And
it
so as
out.
we're walking away, I started crying and I was like, they're supposed to help her. Those are the adults who are responsible for her now. And she immediately gets lost and no one's helping her. And he was like, she's fine. She had a smile on her face. She's perfectly fine. So I'm blaming pregnancy hormones on that. I wouldn't have cried otherwise, but she took a wrong turn and she made it. And then after school, I was like, Emmy, did you take a wrong turn? She was like, yeah, a teacher found me. And then they gave me to another teacher. And then they took me to my class. I was like, oh my goodness, sweet girl.
I,
So I did cry.
yeah. Yeah, I just, yeah, I've never, even on Max is like, yeah, I've never been a crier. If anything, yeah, I'm like, I'm so glad you're back in school, and he's in the same school for the past few years, so it feels a little bit, unceremonious because there's new teacher, new grade, first grade, but yeah, no crying, but
I do feel like,
happy.
so
I
I
love that you feel
use
so comfortable.
the Time Hop app. So it's that app that you can connect to all your social media and it'll be like, on this date last
Yeah,
year, on this
yeah,
date
I get
7 years
those
ago,
too.
that you posted this on
Yeah,
Facebook, you posted this was in your photo albums.
yeah.
And so that makes me a little emotional when I'll pull it up and it'll be like, this was her first day of school last year. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she was a tiny baby and now she's a giant. But also when I look at her, she's a tiny baby. That makes me emotional, but not in like a crying kind of way. Also in just a very like, a parent time. We've talked about this, but parent time, a month feels like an hour and a minute feels like a year. Like it makes no sense
Yeah,
whatsoever.
well, it's like that cliche, the days are long, years are fast, right?
Makes no sense whatsoever.
It
It's
doesn't,
crazy.
but it does. Now I'm just like, how, where are we? Yeah, I get it. So all of your kids are feeling, I was gonna ask you about all of your sports this weekend with like US Open, college football, first Sunday in the regular
So
season for the,
those two are your sports. I am not invested in either of those.
I
Do you
know.
want to talk about them?
Yesterday was a huge, I'm sure, I was like, so yesterday was a huge day. US Women's Open, right?
Yep.
At the championship, you had Sabalenka and Asimova, and Sabalenka won. I've been a fan of her. She won the US Open last year. She's the only female athlete who's been able to repeat her US Open championship since Serena.
I was gonna say, didn't Serena do that? Okay, but I
She
feel like
did that.
every bar that's been set comes with the caveat in tennis of since Serena. which is
The US
a
Open, it's
great
just, like, it's
bar.
become I mean, it's always been, like, this epicenter of, like, culture, but, like, now more than ever, it's never felt so part of the zeitgeist with the celebrities and all the New York Times coverage of the chief celebrity officer of the US Open, who's literally in charge of getting certain celebrities, and like
Yeah.
now, you have the men's championship right now with who is it, Alcaraz and Sinner. They're playing at 2 o'clock on Sunday. We're recording this at 1 o'clock on Sunday. And there's all this media attention now because Trump's going. And Trump's like a VIP guest of Rolex, and Rolex is a huge sponsor of the Open, even
Uh-huh,
though there's like
uh-huh.
despite terrorists on Swiss. So it's a big thing. And then all of these media entities are being censored, of course, because they're saying, listen, when Trump is gonna be shown during the national anthem, there shall be no like, don't show any sort of dissension or booing or anything. So it's gonna be I'm gonna be looking at my phone to see, like,
The
fact
social
versus fiction,
media
like, what's happening
yeah,
on TV versus social, and I'm like, "Where are we living these days?" Like, this was
it's
never
crazy.
a conversation, like, I never would have cared about this, I never would have talked about this, but, like, it is just
Well,
such
he's
an
declared
insane.
war on the city of Chicago, so how's your family feeling about that? All of your friends and family in the
I
Chicago
mean,
area who
I'm
are
sure half of my family was quite happy
thrilled
about that,
about
and half
the
my family is like,
I actually am
"Yeah."
very curious, though. People in Chicago who voted for Trump, it's not like he declared war just on the people who didn't vote for him. He's declared war on the entire city of Chicago, which includes people who voted for him.
Yeah, it's funny because when I was traveling, when I was in Berlin this summer and I met someone and I told them I'm from Chicago, internationally, people's first reaction is always, "Oh my God, it's so dangerous. Like, how are the gangs? How's the violence?" And like, clearly a tale of two, very clearly a tale of two cities
Yeah, of
from the,
course.
very, well off northern suburbs where there are other pockets of southern Chicago and south of the city, which are just riddled with gangs. And it's just like that divide is real. It's real. But
Yeah. Well, that's
yeah.
like I saw something on social media. A girl posted a video and she was like, I ever since I moved to Manhattan, my family in the South thinks that I wake up every morning and try to stave off knife fights in the sidewalks, on the sidewalks of the city, and every night go see Wicked on Broadway. Like just as a very little conception of what's actually happening in these big cities. And it's the same that was happening though with the riots in LA, where it was like,
Oh
certain
yeah.
things being
Yeah.
broadcast on one channel and then
Yeah.
people on other channels being like, "There's like a mariachi band playing here, and I don't know what I'm supposed to be
I
scared
was
of and afraid
there.
of."
I was because that was the weekend when I did the Nike half marathon, the Nike
Yeah, yeah,
half
yeah.
marathon, and that was the same weekend when the ice raid started in
Yeah,
LA. And I'm sitting in a rooftop bar at the top of the Pendry in West Hollywood, drinking my rosé
in a
on
different world.
computer, literally probably
Mhm.
editing an episode of this, while on TV, you have this insane, ice raids and protests. It's just and we're in this La La Land bubble in West Hollywood and,
Yeah,
like, 2 miles down the street. It's like, I don't know, it just kind of yeah, not fact versus fiction, but, like, that bubble. Like, you live in these bubbles
it
where
is. And it's the and again, well, this is not a political podcast, we don't need to get into the politics of all of this. I think we're pretty clear on where we stand on certain things, but it is always very, very interesting to see what you digest and what sort of information you're fed and what sort of information the other side is fed and how that compares. And it's, my husband got into an argument with someone who had very different political beliefs and they were going back and forth. It was literally like a tennis match. And my husband stopped him at one point and was like, "We're literally just spitting talking points to each other that we have been fed from different news networks." Because that's what they do. They're like, if someone on the other side says this is how you respond. And then when they say this is how you respond. And you just go back and forth without people actually having conversations and hearing each other. And I think that's the hardest part of all of this is it just, whatever you're being fed is what you're regurgitating.
but you were in your bubble yesterday recovering from illnesses, right?
First,
Everyone
not even,
healthy?
I don't even want to say first week of school, first 2 days, because school started Thursday. Friday, 15 minutes, I'm literally loading Harry into the car to go pick up Emerson, and I get a call from the school nurse saying she's in the nurse's office with a fever. And I'm like, we couldn't even last the first 2 days of school before we visit the nurse's office. Went and picked her up, had a fever of 102. Out of nowhere. I have no idea what happened. Nothing else was wrong with her. So we just rested. We were on the couch all day yesterday. I like glazed over. I don't think I could watch any more TV because we were just literally in recovery mode. And she's fine today. Perfectly fine. So perfectly timed to be able to do that on a weekend and not have to miss a day of school already, but yeah, who knows? Our first nurse's visit is already in the books. We did
All
it.
right. Um, this is kind of a funny question. Who are your kids? Like in case of emergency people, if it's not you and it's not Spencer, like, well, I guess Denise, I guess your
So it's
mother-in-law.
our mother-in-law who actually Emmy told the nurse that Gammy was picking her up. So after I didn't pick up the phone because I was busy loading Harry into the car to go to school, they called Gammy, and Gammy was like, "Hey, the school just called me, but I'm not here. Can you guys go get your daughter?" And I was like, "We're on it. We're on it. Thank you." But yeah, because she also I think we've talked about this. We live around the corner from our mother-in-law, so she is an amazing, amazing source of help, and someone who, God forbid, there is an emergency and my husband and I can't be reached. She is an option.
No, and we don't. 'Cause, like, if Craig and I were both, like, in the city that's why we both of us don't like being in the city at the same time during the day, and, like,
Yeah,
while, like, even, like, a job perspective, it's helpful, like, if I can be home one day and then he goes in the city the next because if there's an emergency, we're both in the city, we're 2 hours, 2.5 hours outside
yeah,
the city, and so
yeah.
we don't have any family in the area except my sister-in-law, Naomi, who's in Great Barrington in the Berkshires, which is, like, 75 minutes, so and she travels a shit ton, and has her own 2 kids, so I don't know. I mean, yeah. I don't I was just thinking about that, like, another emergency contact in case of,
We've thought about that
if
too
God
because
forbid anything
my
happens.
sister and her family had an emergency last fall where my sister was injured and had to rush to the hospital, and her husband obviously wanted to go with her, and they have 3 kids, and it happened in the night, and they're like, who like, we can't just call a babysitter. What do we do? How do we make sure our kids are taken care of so that he can go be with his wife who's at the hospital?" And so them going through that really, and they live in a lovely, very, very family oriented neighborhood, and they're right on a cul-de-sac, and they thankfully have a great network. But my husband and I were like, okay, if that happened to us, if we were in that scenario, who would we call? What does that look like? And I think it's one of those things that you don't really think about until you're in that situation, or someone close to you is in that situation. Like, even after you had your losing Max situation, we sat down with Emerson and we're like, all right, what do we do if we get lost, if we can't find mom and dad? Like, when someone in your network, in your circle goes through
He
it,
knows my phone number now. Like,
great.
crisis made him really he now I'm, like, quizzing him, "What's my phone number?" He knows it right I'm
Yeah,
like, "Perfect, thank you."
that's amazing. That's
But
amazing. Yeah.
again, the real test is gonna be like, can you remember that in the moment of, of anxiety or
Yeah. And
nervousness or
all the
crying?
pressure and, yeah,
Um,
adrenaline. But
yeah.
yeah, no, so now we've been thinking about that too, and making sure we give any neighbors a heads up, like, hey, if you're home and we need to call you, are you open to us giving you a kid or running over and feeding the dog or whatever it is? But thankfully, again, we do have my mother-in-law and my husband's aunt and uncle who are around the corner as well. But we have some great neighbors who I know would help too. So figure out your network, figure out your plan. Anyone who doesn't have that
Yeah,
figured
your
out yet.
people. Yeah. Yeah, we got some
What'd you see
people.
on
So
social
you were
this week?
chilling all day. Ooh, well, thank you for asking.
You want to know?
So
Hold
this
on, before
morning
we
while
even
I
get
was
into this,
walking,
hold, please, hold. Ready?
what?
So before we get into what I saw on socials, I posted something on our TikTok of what I saw on socials, one of our clips from last week, and we got in trouble
Okay.
with someone on the internet who said that we cannot cite things we saw on social as scholarly research. And I was like, I agree. We're not citing it as scholarly research. We're just saying these are things that we saw on social. We're not saying, believe everything you see on social. We're not saying it is true. We're just saying, hey, we saw this on social and we found it interesting.
Totally.
So, just a caveat for this segment, things I
Okay.
saw on social. It's just stuff that we saw on social media that we found
These
interesting.
are things, these
You
are
can do your
things
own
that I would
research. It is what it is.
these are
So
things that
don't.
I would be texting you throughout the
Uh huh.
week, but I don't text you to talk about throughout the week because I choose to use it for fodder for this. That's simply it.
Absolutely.
Things I saw on
Yeah.
social.
Yeah.
So in the
So what'd
spirit
you
of
see
things
on
I saw on
social?
In the spirit of things I saw on social, I actually listened to I'm really liking the New York Times audio app. So they introduced this about a year ago, and it's like their audio portion of all their content. And it's, they have AI bots obviously reading articles because they can't scale that. But I listened to one of my favorite is The Interview. So it's Lulu Garcia something. I pronounce her
Navarro.
name. Navarro, thank you. She's lovely, an amazing interviewer. And she had a great conversation with Brené Brown, who I haven't heard from in ages.
Oh,
I
yeah.
appreciated the conversation because it was all about leadership and how if you are not feeling like if you meet someone right now and like they say that, oh yeah, like life's great, things are grand, like they're not paying attention because it's one of the most unsettling times in current history, economically, emotionally, sociologically, like everything. And I appreciated the conversation because she was talking all about, again, leaders. Because I guess Brene now has kind of switched her practice where she does a huge consultancy where she goes and meets with like Fortune 100 leaders and they're all talking about AI and change and org structure. And I think the soundbite or like the takeaway that I resonated with most was how you no matter how great a job looks on paper or how amazing the brand is, the organization is, as long as you have a boss who is a great leader and who believes in you and nurtures you, you will be successful and you will stay in that job. If your boss is not supportive, a
Yeah.
micromanager, you guys don't gel, no matter how amazing your organization is or your brand is, like you will never be happy on that job. And
Yeah.
that just spoke to me because that's also been my experience with working with some amazing brands and not having great leaders, and that has impacted my,
Sure.
experience there. So
Yeah.
that's my juicy thing on social. I'm more of a headpiece, but
I like that. I think, so I haven't heard from Brené Brown in a while. I
mhm,
feel like the last time I heard from her was on Simon Sinek's podcast, and
mhm,
it was, um, her with Simon and Adam Grant all together. It was a really interesting
mhm.
conversation. They did, I think
I
it was a
listened to that
two-parter.
one.
It was a good one. Um, but and I agree with what you are relaying from this conversation. I haven't listened to the interview yet. That yeah, it's obviously a super heavy time in the world, but I also don't agree that if you are meeting someone and they're not talking about that, that they're living in a world of delusion. Because if I'm walking around, if someone at like another teacher at school is like, "How are you doing?" I'm not going to be like, "Oh, vaccines, am I right?" Like there are some people that I need to like maintain my
Yeah,
own mental sanity and share that with, and other people I can't share that with because I'm like I can't carry that burden everywhere with me and have that conversation every time I meet someone.
of
So I
course,
I
of
get what
course.
she's saying, but like there are only certain people that I can be that heavy with, and like
Totally, and I mean, what I took is, like, she was talking about that in more of, like, a business setting, in a corporate CEO setting, that, like, if you're a big Fortune 100 CEO right now and you're like, "Oh, yeah, everything's fine, and I'm feeling good, I'm feeling
yeah,
steadfast,"
business as
and, like,
usual.
you're kind of delusional because things are changing on a
Fair,
dime.
that makes
You're
sense.
investing into AI without even knowing what it is. Obviously, it's not addicted to AI, versus me, where if you ask me what's going on,
God
I'd be like, "Oh,
forbid
yeah."
AI is listening and comes after you.
Be like, "Let's talk about Michigan football last night, and they lost to Oklahoma." I was like the weirdo I was at a kid's birthday party. I was like the token
You
dude,
are
which
invested. You are
I know, I
invested.
don't know, I've got my sports bug again, but I was at a kid's birthday party yesterday, and I'm the parent with my phone on the table watching, not engaging with the other parents because I wanna watch the US Open.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's
I
like,
just college football is doing I will say I am excited that football has started. My phone is sitting right here and it normally wouldn't be, but I need to figure out a different system. This is where I keep my notes for things I saw on social or other things I want to talk about.
I
But I
appreciate you
just got an
showing up with your
alert.
Buffalo Bills gear,
I
your
did,
Bills gear
yeah.
on, for
Well, as I
anyone
was gonna
who's
say, I have
listening.
my fantasy team is playing now. They just started. We're recording at 1:24 right now, so they just started and I got an alert that one of my players is in the red zone, so they might score. So but yeah, I'm excited about fantasy football. I'm excited about that starting. That's a fun thing. And I have a thing I saw on social that's football related
Mm,
that I was excited to
tell me.
share. So the Jaguars called up, they before the season started, they had to make some cuts to the final roster and they cut their wide receiver Hunter Renfro. They ended up trading someone and then someone getting injured, I think it was. So they had some spaces back on the roster once the season started. And they called Hunter back to be like, hey, dude, we got a spot for you. Do you want to be on the roster? They called him 10 times and the call just not they didn't the team didn't call him, his agent called him, but the call wasn't going through. It just kept getting ignored and they're like, "What the heck's going on?" Like, I don't know how this works. I don't know if they were about to like move on to the next person on the list. I doubt that's how that works. I'm pretty sure they were just going to keep calling him. But he finally picked up the phone and was like, "I'm so sorry. My daughters were watching Bluey," and kept ignoring the call on his phone. So he almost missed the call, or he didn't almost, he missed the call 10 times to come back and play for the Jaguars because his kids were on his phone watching Bluey, which I was like, that's the most relatable parent moment that I think any
Yeah, they just
NFL player
swipe
has ever
up. The
shared.
notification
Yeah.
comes in,
They know how to do
silence,
that.
swipe, swipe,
Yeah.
swipe.
He has
Yeah,
it's a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, I think. I looked it up because I was like, oh, how I wonder how
it's
old
amazing.
my kids, like, they absolutely know how to swipe up and get that notification out of the way. Like, I'm watching Bluey, get out of my screen. It's like, that's fantastic, so
Yeah, I made a mistake of having Max do that on my phone, and he somehow got into my contact list, and he ended up calling my old CMO at Verizon, which was very awkward, and I'd be like, "Sorry, I haven't talked to you in about a year and a half, but that was a butt dial from my kid." Not that he's like, "Whatever, call me back," but yeah, that was a fun one too.
wow.
But,
I haven't
man,
had any of those.
Bluey,
Mine's just, like, all of the photos that they take. So I had, like, 15 pictures of my son's pajama pants this morning because he just was, like, holding it and pressing the button over and over and over again. That's what I have tons of. But I haven't,
crazy.
that I know of, missed any calls from NFL teams trying to recruit me. You
God.
never know.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know, other things that was my biggest that was my favorite thing on social was, like, I listened to some good audio this week. I have teed up for an afternoon walk today. Luke Combs on Dak Shepard's Armchair
Mhm.
Expert. I wanna listen to
Did you
that.
finish Amanda Knox? I started it, but I haven't finished yet.
The interview or the show?
The, Dax episode of
Yeah,
the
I listened
pod.
to the whole thing. Actually, it was
Yeah.
amazing. I listened to the 2.5 hour while I was, like, cleaning my closet. It was perfect. Yeah, I felt like that was the most comprehensive interview and Cliff's notes on the Amanda Knox story. Of course, it's, like, a little bit biased and through her lens,
From
but
her perspective, yeah.
I have no, like, I have no need to watch her show on Hulu or read or anything because I just invested 2.5 hours of her side of the story and getting into everything.
Man, that's
It all caught up.
disappointing because the whole reason she did the podcast was trying to get people to watch her Hulu show,
I
and
know,
now
I
it
have
works
no
too well.
interest.
You're like, "Why do I need to watch? I know everything."
The girl who stars as Amanda Knox, there's another show on Hulu called Don't Tell Me Lies. Kinda young YA, kinda college, but she's beautiful. But it's almost like they they kinda, like, made her character in the Hulu show, like, a little too, like, sexual? I don't know how to say that in an appropriate way,
Interesting.
but she's, like,
They just sexualized her a lot?
distractingly beautiful, like, big butterfly lips and just model, like, distractingly beautiful, where you're like,
Yeah.
"Okay." I don't know, and, like, Amanda Knox I think is pretty, but she's not, like, a model.
I feel like
Anyway,
maybe that's I mean, again, we don't need to get into full Amanda Knox stuff, but I feel like from what I've
fascinating.
heard
I
of her.
didn't realize everything. That's a fascinating story.
It is, but I didn't realize how much she was sexualized through the process by some people,
Mhm,
and maybe
mhm,
that was the
mhm.
intent of the Hulu
Maybe.
show, is to, like, really ramp it up to be like, "No, seriously, this is how some people were
Yeah.
seeing me at the time."
Yeah, but that was a huge thing was the Italian prosecutors were saying, "Oh, you brought" like, "Yeah, you brought this on yourself. It
Ugh.
was some sort of cult orgy." Yeah, yeah.
I watch enough SVU to not side with them on that. That's not how that
The
works.
Pit. We haven't talked about
You watched
did
it?
you like, binged it when I was
Yeah.
going to
We watched
Berlin,
it
and we
way
had
back when. It's so good.
it is, like, Noah what's his
No, a
Weil?
while.
He's so good, but
Mhm.
also the blonde-haired nurse had a huge feature in the New York Times I wanna read. I forget her name.
Is she the one who is Bryan Cranston's daughter?
No, she's, like,
Oh,
like,
the
the OG
main nurse
resident.
lady. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, yeah.
but
I
and
forget
I
her
really
name.
wanna start watching it again, and Craig wants to watch it, but I was like, "Craig, like, you can't even watch The Bear, 'cause if you think The Bear's too intense, like, you're not gonna make it through an episode of this." 'Cause, like, even
That's
I
what
have to
I
move
told you,
away.
my
It's
ER
so
doctor
graphic.
sister said it's the most realistic doctor show. She's like, "This is what it's like. It's literally like this every shift."
But the character development is good, so I think
So
I'm gonna
good.
kinda pick that back up again.
So good, and it moves quickly, and it's so interesting, and they have so many and they really spend a lot of time developing each character. It's so many different people and personalities, and there's so much going on, but you actually, like, it doesn't feel wasteful. It doesn't feel like you're like, "Why there was no point in doing that. Why were they in a relationship? Why were they doing" like, it just yeah, it's great, great. I think it's
Do it.
probably the only
The
show that
Pit,
I've
and
watched
that's
before you. The rest of them you get to before I do.
yeah, I get to all of them. So what else happened
An
this week? First week back at
Another
school.
thing that I
How's
saw on
no, it's
social that I thought was really
yeah.
interesting, we'll see what develops from it or if it goes anywhere, but the first male birth control pill passed human testing,
Okay. About
which
time. It's about
I know,
time.
can you believe it? But I'm curious to see what happens, what's next, where that goes, if it goes anywhere, or if it gets shot down by the current FDA,
Sure.
HHS administration. We'll see. We'll see
Yeah,
what
there
happens.
should have been.
I also would love to get someone on here a younger perspective, a fresh perspective, because I read about shrekking. Have you heard of shrekking?
No, does it involve something like the movie Shrek?
It does. It is a new dating approach that Gen Z is taking where they prioritize someone's character over their physical appearance. So someone who treats them well versus just someone who's super hot.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
it's
I
called
mean, I think you need a little
shrekking.
bit of both, you know?
I mean, whatever floats your boat, whatever. But
Okay.
it's apparently a very it's like a actual term that people like. Shrekking, like ghosting and shrekking are very official dating terms now. So
All
shrekking,
right.
where you go for someone who has solid character instead of solid cheekbones.
Great. Gen
Yep,
Z, tell
yep.
us what is up with Shrekking.
Can
I
I?
agree with that approach. Okay.
I am so happy to be in a wonderful, happy marriage. I can't imagine dating right now. I I don't think I'd be very good at it. The things that
No.
I hear are going on in the dating world these days, I don't think I'd be a good
I
dater.
don't even hear any story like, all like, it all feel it I don't even hear any stories. I feel like anyone I don't have any even, I guess, like, high schoolers, like, my nieces and nephews are kind of getting into high school now, which is kinda crazy, but, like, I don't
That's
really
crazy.
engage with many college kids these days, so I would love to know what the college
Not even
landscape is
college,
like.
but like in your 20s and early 30s, people who are because I didn't get married until I was 35. Like I don't think I was even very good at dating when I was dating, but I can't imagine being back in the dating pool in the dating world. I'm very, very thankful to be in a happy, wonderful marriage and not having to do that. Whew, my goodness. Um, this week I feel like my motherhood has been so exhausting from the weirdest perspective, specifically relating to school lunches. It feels
Tell
like
me.
Groundhog Day every day, just waking up and I only did it 2 days. It was Thursday, Friday. But I was like my brain every morning was like, I guess we'll do chicken nuggets. Like I can't
Oh, that's
the
interesting. Do you make, like, hot food for lunches?
yeah. Yeah. We
Okay,
do.
yeah.
We do. We have the
It's
whole
like
setup where it like stays
peanut butter
warm.
sandwich,
We can't
banana.
do nuts, we can't do peanut butter.
We can finally do peanut butter, but he likes sun butter, so it's fine. Made
We
good,
can't we can't do
granolas.
any nuts. We have a cashew allergy and then a mixed nut allergy in the classroom, and it's just a nut-free school in general. So it's and I don't know why the mental gymnastics for me and it's not even gymnastics. It's like I wake up and I'm like, "Okay, it's either meatballs, grilled cheese,
Meatballs? You put
quesadilla."
meatballs in your kid's
Yeah, we do
lunch?
meatballs and noodles. Yeah.
Oh, wow,
Not
and
with sauce,
noodles? Like, shot
we're not
noodles?
jerks about it. But, like, I wish I could
You, like,
do a
make it just
tuna
an extra
salad,
chip?
an egg salad, but I'm not gonna be the mom that sends her kid to school with stinky lunch, like, that's
No,
just
that's
rude.
yeah, no, that's mean, that's
That's so
rude.
rude.
Yeah, no, we have a yeah, I mean, lunches are the most basic, boring thing over here. It's literally always some form of, like, a nut sandwich, a peanut butter sandwich, a sun butter sandwich, a banana, a yogurt, a cheese stick, a treat, go. A
That's
monkey
what
juice,
we
which
were
I just
and my
like
husband
some
and I will sit there
drinks.
every morning and be like,
Yeah.
What did you already put in there? Alright, do we have something crunchy? We need something crunchy, something a fruit, string cheese."
Oh, yeah,
It's
apples,
just
yeah, yeah.
and every morning it feel and I understand meal prep from that
Mhm,
perspective
mhm,
only.
mhm.
Personally, for my meals, I love to be able to like, all right, what do we want tonight? Like, let's figure it out. But for kids' lunches, every morning, I'm like, how is this a part of my morning again? Again, I have to do this. I have to think of, I just thought about this yesterday. Why do I have to think about this again? My kid just ate lunch and half of it came back anyway. And then I try to save it and send it back the next day. And it just keeps coming back. I'm like, why am I still doing this? Like
Or,
the
like,
mental gymnastics of it.
I mean, I never went to public school, but in the public school, you get your food. I don't know how good that food is, but at least
The
you're not
menus
thinking
they
about it.
send, I literally the first day of school, one of the options was chicken and waffles, and I was like, "Spencer, should we let her get chicken and waffles? I'm so curious. Like, what does
Oh,
that even look
I
like?"
mean, so she can get food at school if she wants
She
it?
can get food at school. There's a
Okay,
menu every week of different
yeah.
options, and I mean, who knows what it looks like? Who knows if it's even edible? I have no concept whatsoever of what this food is, where it even comes from. The healthy option is a chicken Caesar salad. Like, there's pizza every day. There's chicken fingers. There's lots of different things. But I'm like, I don't know anything about this food. I don't know where it's coming from. And like, we have food at home. I can easily make it. But my husband and I have the conversation all the time. Like, it's what is worth the mental load and what is not of the things. Like if it's much easier just to be like, get the chicken and waffles, then send her to school with $4 and she'll get chicken and waffles if it's stressing us out that much. But I have to get myself back into the rhythm of that Groundhog Day.
All of it.
every morning, "What are we doing for lunch today?" Because then you
Well,
just
one
it's like while I do breakfast too, I'm like, I have to do the breakfast gymnastics, then I skip over to lunch gymnastics, and then they're
I
gonna
mean,
come home and they want dinner.
this is really a headache for you is the
It's a
lunches.
lot, but, like, why are they so needy? What's their problem? It's
Why do
crazy.
you need food?
Ugh,
Spencer would be so happy to know that Max got into a pretty competitive ski team this winter up
wow,
in Blue Mountain.
that's awesome.
And I had to have a pretty big come to Jesus conversation with Craig, like, okay, like, are we gonna do this? Because it is such a commitment.
Yeah,
December through March, every Saturday and Sunday, 9 to noon, and Hunter Mountain's about a little over an hour away from where we are, which granted, like, no matter where you are, like, it's about an hour to get to, like, a pretty decent mountain by us up in the Catskills.
yeah,
And
that's
Max
a
we went
lot,
to
that's
Max.
so exciting, though.
Yes, I got my first pair of skis.
Okay,
They tell you ready? I bought them a couple
uh-uh,
weeks ago, which is huge. It's a very specific brand, Stockley, which I liked. I skied
okay,
them when we were in Europe and liked them so much and found them for like 40% off at our local ski shop
the
up here, which was
best,
amazing.
the best.
And then now I just gotta get my boots. So I gotta get like a proper boot fitting. And Spencer sent me a guy. So for anyone who cares or knows, so Spencer's like a huge ski guy and he's a ski instructor and grew up very competitive skiing and he teaches and coaches now. The guy he sent me to is, like, very, very inconveniently located, like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to go. It's in, like,
Not gonna happen.
somewhere in the Poconos in Pennsylvania, like,
Oh,
2
yeah.
hours. I'm like, I just so I'm gonna have to find a better place
Well,
to
because
go.
his original boot guy retired last
So
season.
this is retired boot guy's recommendation now.
Great, great. Okay, so high praise if it's coming
High
from
praise, appreciate it.
Gary.
So if you're looking for me this winter, I will literally be on the ski slopes every weekend,
Wow.
you know,
That's a
and
commitment.
I know, ski
Do
mom.
you you get to ski, I assume, since you're
I'll
getting all the
ski. Like, I got
gear.
my first, like,
Mhm.
Epic Pass 'cause, Hunter's owned by Vail Resorts, and so you can get an Epic Pass, which gives you, like, access to a bunch of other mountains. I just got, like, an all Northeast Pass, which is great, but I think we'll probably just take turns, like, one Saturday I'll do it, Craig will do a Sunday. There's no way I can be able to, like, do a doubleheader. It's just
No, that's
I
so
think it'll
much.
be a lot. And I'll
Yeah.
probably
Will
yeah,
you guys ever spend the night? Like, make a weekend of it?
I mean, maybe, but we're literally only, again, like, a little over an hour away. Well, like,
Yeah.
we could. Yeah, I think maybe just to kinda make a fun weekend out of it. There's Scribner's
Yeah, every
Love,
once in a while.
which is nice, and bring lemon. But that's kind of like our big winter thing. I'll be all jazzed up because I started to work with Team USA,
Very cool.
which is kind of finally formal, and we'll be doing all things Olympic. So I'll be kind of in that like Olympic skiing headspace all winter, living it up.
Very cool. Team USA is competing when?
The Olympics are January and February, kind of leading a little bit into
In
March for the
LA?
Paralympics. No, this is Winter Olympics in Milan
In
Cortina
Milan, that's right, in
in
Milan.
the
Oh my
Dolomites, so
gosh.
in the part of Italy. Then summer games are LA in '28,
Okay.
and then Salt Lake City has winter in 2030. So it's gonna be a big next couple of years
Yeah,
for the Olympics in the US, which is
yeah.
really fun. But I think
Very cool.
LA games are gonna be awesome. It's gonna be so just like culture, sport. They're introducing flag football as a huge new sport. It's LA, it's sunny, it's beachy, so that will be
Yeah,
fun. But this is the winter games, and they're just kind of in the qualifiers right now. So
okay.
I won't be able to
Very
go,
exciting.
but it's fun.
You
It's cool
won't?
work.
You will
I don't
not
think
be
so.
able to
So
go?
technically, like, my role so I'm working with the US Olympic Paralympic Committee, which is all things Team USA. And a fact that, like, I guess a lot of people don't realize is the Olympics are a complete nonprofit. They're a foundation, and they're completely funded by
I didn't know that.
donations. And
Yeah.
the US Team USA is one of the only, if not the only, team globally that is not government funded. It is completely privately funded
Wow.
by donations from me and you and just like individual big donors,
Yeah.
which is crazy to think
Yeah,
that.
I did not realize that.
And so my role is I'm basically like the at home GM. So I'm running strategy and execution for the Winter Games, managing all things at home while we have a team on the ground doing production and content and social and athlete houses and all of that. So,
Love it.
yeah, it's cool. It's exciting working with good people. It's the Olympics and
USA.
make a difference. Go USA.
USA. That's awesome. Very cool. Well, that'll be something for me to look forward to, for great breastfeeding content when I'm couch
Yes.
trapped in
Oh,
January and
yeah.
February. Can't wait. Assuming this kid will breastfeed. You never know. We'll see what happens. But if he's interested, I'm on board. Like, let's work together
Alright.
here, kid.
Alright. You
Let's
gotta
see
do
if we
it.
can make it happen. Um, I feel like I had another things I saw on social, but I forgot it. But you know what? There's always more that we saw on social that we can share. I don't know where it's
Things
gonna go.
alright. Well, I'm glad everyone's
Quickie.
healthy. Quickie, short,
A
sweet. Sometimes all
quickie.
you need is a quickie. All you need is a quickie.
That's
Got
fine.
some
Hit the spot.
NFL football on. Bears play
Hit the
tomorrow
spot.
night for Monday Night Football. Who the Bills play today? Oh,
Um,
yeah. Wait, no, one of your NFL.
I can check my fantasy team, see if Josh
I think they
is
do. I
leading my
think the
team.
Bills
I think they do. I think they might be tonight. Um, but I don't know. I really don't know these things at all. I should pay attention. I don't have a team. I have a fantasy team, but I don't have a team that I actually care about that I follow, like an actual NFL team. I just watch
I
my
feel like you
players,
should
my
follow
fantasy
the
players.
Bills this year. I feel like that feels natural for you.
It does feel right. It feels right. They play the Ravens tonight, which is
Well,
fun.
I was
That
actually
sounds
just
like a
also
really
gonna
fun
say, I feel
game.
like another team that would feel as natural for you would be the Ravens, not Falcons, because I feel
The
like
Ravens are
Ravens are
fun
more your
because my
yeah.
sister, the ER doctor's sister, lives in Maryland, and the company she works with, she does a rotation. All the doctors in her group do a rotation and work the Ravens games. So 2 games each season, she is the sideline
I
doctor
remember that. This is
for
cool.
the Ravens, which is
You
really
sent me
cool.
pictures from that one time when it was like a
Yeah.
big playoff game or something. It was cool.
Yeah, she gets to go. Obviously, she's working, but she gets 2 tickets. So she's gone. She's taken like my husband, or not my husband. She's invited my husband, but he hasn't been able to go. But she's taken my dad and her husband, and everyone who gets to go obviously loves the experience. It's a really, really cool. Just any professional sports game
Yeah.
is super fun. I mean, we've talked about the marathon and like anything you're watching, you just get like the
That's
adrenaline
why
of the
I'm
crowd.
crying. I don't cry on my kid's first day of school. Show me the New York City Marathon, and you have the guides running with the blind runners, and I'm done for. Or just anyone, honestly, who's running. I can't, like, cheer and not, like, choke up. So,
Yeah.
I think you just gotta find
Or like
find
me,
your
like Lilo and Stitch live action movie this morning that we watched with the
oh,
kids, and you
oh,
cry
well.
because Ohana means family. Family means no one left behind. So, whatever it takes, things that make you cry. But any good feel good sports movie, I mean, you could give me a Remember the Titans or a Rudy any day, and I will
Yeah.
openly weep.
Denzel. I'll cry for Denzel.
Ugh. You know what? Actually, I did see on social recently. That's not how you
You
pronounce
sound
his
like a phone
name.
call I have with my mom.
I
You
know
say
where we
goodbye.
said goodbye and then we
Yeah,
keep going. But
that's what happens. I say
Denzel,
goodbye
that's
3
not how you
times, and
pronounce
we
his
keep
name.
talking.
It's Denzel. He said his name is
No.
actually pronounced Denzel, but he is his dad. He's named after his dad, and he and his dad are both Denzel. And so his mom was like, "No, I can't do this. You're Denzel. You're Denzel." And so she changed the way she pronounced his name so that she didn't keep confusing them. We've all
The
been
more you
pronouncing it
know.
wrong.
The more you know.
Denzel.
That's the news you
Denzel
need to know is
Washington.
Denzel.
Now we know. Well, everyone, as you go out into this week and are having conversations about one of our favorite actors, Mr. Washington, you now know to properly refer to him as Denzel. Denzel Washington. Don't make a
And
fool
on
of
that
yourself this
note,
week.
goodbye for the 3rd time.
Cheers.
Okay, cheers.